recording to start. All right, good morning and welcome to another Friday morning safety meeting. Today is the 19th of September. So we're more than halfway through September now. It'll be October before we know it, and it'll be wintertime before we know it. So we are 14 days without a recordable injury. We are 2 days from our last first aid injury and 1 day without a vehicle incident. Today we're going to talk about lifting with chain slings. So you always want to inspect before use. You want to check the manufacturer tag and confirm that you can actually read it. You want to look for the size, the grade, the load rating, and the length. You always want to just make sure that you're looking at wear, any defective welds, nicks, cracks, breaks, gouges, stretches, bends, discoloration from excessive heat, pitting from corrosion, the opening on hooks that they're not deformed more than 10%, and any other conditions that may cause you to doubt safe chain or sling. So you want to make sure they have those tags on them. It happens all the time where we show up, somebody's like, hey, can I get a new tag for this chain? And look at it, and well, you can't keep this chain. I'm taking it with me, but here's a chain with a tag on it. We'll be harping down on them a bit more in the next couple of weeks, so I'll make sure to stick a few in my truck later on today. It's one of those things where if we have them to swap out with you, we have them, and if not, we don't. Just something to point out, though, that we did have a few different hooks over the last few months just because of supply issues with two different suppliers. So if we don't have the class for you right away, we'll get them for you. So you always want to use safe rigging practices. You don't want to shorten by like tying knots or anything in your chains. Don't twist them around to do that either. You never want to rest your loads on a chain. Do not pull a chain from under a load. So if you have a pallet sitting on the ground and a chain underneath it, don't just yank it out. Don't drag on the ground or over rough surfaces. Do not allow shock loading, so don't lift up hard on it and try to pull. Even the half-inch chains and stuff will break from doing that. You want to avoid twisting and kinking, so always try to keep them nice and straight. You want to ensure the chain is not constricted, bunched, or pinched by the load, hook, or lifting, or any fitting. And you want to ensure that the load is centered on the hook. So if it's at the tip of the hook, you are going to bend the hook or break it, and you could hurt somebody. So that's why you always want to go in kind of backwards and then hook back around. You always want to ensure that all body parts are not between the chain and the load. That should be pretty common sense. You also want to remember that if chains do break, they can snap back at you. You never want to stand in line where the chain, that doesn't even make sense. I should have taken that one out. And never pass under a suspended load. That is something that we all learn on day one, never to ever do. So when it comes to proper care, you want to make sure that they're not subject to damage. So you want to keep them as far away from any sort of stuff that could run them over, corrosion. You want to keep moisture away. You want to avoid extreme temperatures, and you want to hang up if possible to avoid kinking. We don't realize how much these chains cost. Just the regular lifting chains, anywhere from $88 to $140, depending on the market. So once you get into the slings, especially the half-inch slings, like the four-way slings and stuff like that, you can spend up to $2,500, $2,800 depending on the market price. So the better care we take of these, the longer they last and the less likely we are to have a lifting incident. Once again, try to avoid shock loading them. That tends to be where we have the most problems. And if you need replacement hooks or anything, just let us know. And the big thing is when you're inspecting these, like I said before, you're looking for obligation and flattening of one side and weld failure is typically what we see for problems, as well as hook failure.
Good job, Tom. I realize they were that expensive for those slings.
They're very volatile when it comes to pricing. So we added a second supplier last year.
Yep.
Just that way we can kind of play the market a little bit more when it comes to purchasing.
Gotcha. Well done there too. Elliot's job every day. He does a good job with that. You want to drive? You want me to share my screens?
I can drive.
Okay. So Mr. Dow's out today, as is Matt Orsolak. So you've got the Tom and Tom show, if you will. I'll fill in for Ben as soon as he gets us up here. We'll zing through this. Good morning, everybody. Friday morning.
Maybe this year I'm having course, I left myself with 13 windows up for this.
There you go.
Can you see my screen?
I can. Yep.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so good job on the chain sling safety. Announcements this week: our code of conduct to maintain confidentiality of insider information learned about ECI or about our clients. I know Ben talks about this an awful lot in respect to our clients and contractual obligations, but I just like to also point out at bid time, if you have information on ECI bids, we seem to be in a ever tightening market, and keeping our information internal, at least till post bid, will help us get more work. So just keep that in mind, if you would. Reminder, Tom is hosting or overseeing the October 4th ECI Railroad Golf Outing. I played in that a number of years. It's a ton of fun. So if you're interested, get a hold of Tom. He'll get you on that list. I'm sure you got room still, Tom.
Yep, we need to fill spots, so please send me an email, or preferably an email with the subject of golf tournament, and I will get you added to the roster. I'd like to get the roster kind of settled out by this time next week. So,
okay, the push is on. So, all right, the ownership topic of the week. This was suggested by Isaiah LaFountain. This is a little personal to Ben Dow. We spoke about it yesterday, so I'm gonna read this one verbatim for Ben. Wear your seatbelt and be vigilant while driving. Pardon me? You good? Okay. Wear your seatbelt and be vigilant while driving and as a passenger. ECI employees are our most valuable and effective asset. Wearing a seatbelt is a responsible way to protect the team. It's an effective way of preventing serious injury and death in a vehicle crash. Wear it. And we just need to continue to enforce that. Benefits of wearing seatbelts, a few of them. Keep us secured in our seat, gives us a greater chance to keep and regain control of the vehicle, keeps us from becoming a projectile and being ejected from the vehicle, distributes the force of a collision across stronger parts of our body, protects our internal organs, holds us in a position that works together with airbags required by ECI safety rules, and it's the law. It's equally important that ECI drivers and passengers operate as a team in defensive driving. Both driver and passengers must be vigilant and always looking out for and anticipating potential hazards. And there's a lot of them out there. As employee owners, we owe it to ourselves to take proper care of each other and all of those around us. Caring for assets also adds to our future wealth as employee owners. Thank you for your alignment, Mr. Ben Dow. So I'd just like to add there, it's not just an ECI thing. We all want to go home to our families every single day. So nights, weekends, personal vehicles, whatever the case may be, that simple little habit of wearing a seatbelt will save your life, or the bad habit of not. Unfortunately, we lose too many lives every year in Vermont and around the country for just not buckling up. So let's make that happen. Upcoming events. Anything?
Yep,
Anybody
mind if I add one thing on there, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so it's important to remember when driving commercial vehicles, and when I say that, I mean like your freight liners and stuff like that. That they're not designed to keep you safe. They're designed to keep you behind the wheel and in the action as a crash occurs. So the biggest thing when it comes to those is that you're wearing your seatbelt. And that's really all you have in those. You don't have airbags and stuff like that, like you do in a passenger car that's meant to keep you alive. You're in a vehicle that's meant to keep other people alive and keep you in your seat driving. So make sure that you're wearing your seatbelt because it's all that you have in those vehicles. And the other thing too is route selection. If you're driving a large vehicle, don't take back roads. Don't just follow GPS. Take the big roads. Take, Route 7, Route 15, different I-89, stuff like that, and big roads that have room for big trucks.
Great point, Tom. Great points. All right. Upcoming events. The ECI Family Day. We've spoken about this for the last month and a half. Elena's overseeing this, but we're getting very close. Looks like she's got a good list going, but if you still want to go, please reach out to her. Your family is welcome. And also, a little note here, we're still looking for someone to help kids operate an excavator as needed. So, Charlie Fecto, I know you're good with the young ones. If you can put that day aside, that'd be wonderful. Little congratulations to Trevor Day on passing his FE exam. The Fundamentals of Engineering exam is the first steps towards becoming a licensed PE in the United States, testing an engineer's understanding of core engineering principles. It's administered by the National Council of Examiners for Engineering and Surveying. This exam is for recent graduates or students nearing degree completion in a 4-year ABET-credited engineering program and is offered in various disciplines, including mechanical, civil, and electrical engineering. Passing the FB exam grants the engineering intern EI designation, a key milestone on the path to gaining the necessary work experience and passing the PE exam. Once you meet the experience requirement, you can take the second exam, the PE exam, to become fully licensed. So well done, Trevor. Keep up the good work on that. New employees. We've got a new employee starting this week with our awesome group of drivers. Jordan Codding, commercial truck drivers, seen here. If you haven't met him, I haven't. Please say hi and welcome him to ECI. Last week we had a little spelling error, been corrected this week. Isaiah Terrell has been with us now a couple weeks, I think. Civil construction labor. So welcome again. Links to the primary care wellness program and the EAP are here every single week, so you can look back at old emails if you want to get any information on that. And of course, you could reach out to HR as well on any of that stuff. And the project of the week, I get to be a double dipper today. So we're going to talk about the South Alburg Fire District number 2 project. This is a nice project we've been doing since mid-June. We started for Dirt Tech. So ECI was contracted by Dirt Tech Company to perform the trenchless installation work for the South Alburg Fire District number 2 Phase 2 Water Systems Improvement Project. Our original scope of work included the installation of a quantity of 18 water main bores, 18 different bores, totaling just about 6,000 feet, and an estimated 20 lateral crossings for service line installations. DuBois and King estimated the water main to be 4,329 feet of soil boring and 1,636 feet of rock boring. That was based on very limited geotech information that they provided at bid time. We mobilized on June 16th and began our production work on June 17th. Since we began, an additional 3 bores totaling 1,426 feet of more work was added, and more rock than expected has been encountered. Today marks our 66th day on site. As of today, we're a little over halfway, which is never changing. They continue to add to our scope of work. So as it currently sits, we're a little over halfway. We've completed 11 of the bores, totaling 4,235 feet, and a little over 1,000 feet of that was in rock, mostly on one bore. We've got a balance of 3,173 feet left to go. The remaining mainline work consists of 10 more bores. 3,156. Within that quantity, we anticipate 812 feet of remaining rock and the balance to be soil. But we've seen this has been all over the place where there's not supposed to be rock, there's rock, and it's proven to be more rock than we had wanted. So, and anyway, at the completion of the mainline work, the focus will shift to service bores, which will be a tightly coordinated effort with Dirt Tech, because they'll be doing all of the tie-in work at both ends of the services, and that will likely roll into next spring. Dirt Tech has supported ECI with traffic control, excavation, and completed most of the tie-ins. ECI has assisted on a couple of the tie-ins, and is also pre-testing all the bored pipes as a precautionary measure before they do the final pressure testing that will be witnessed by DuBois and King. Both Dirt Tech and DuBois and King have been very good to work throughout this project. The cooperation there's been fantastic. So we got a fleet of pictures here. I'll zing through these and I'll turn it back to you after that, Tom. So most of the work we performed, not all of it, but most of it so far has been on 2A, a very tight section of it. So we've had lane closures pretty much every day. Here shows our package with our 100 drills in there, our vac truck, and our mud truck, and our water truck. So we've got one CDL driver on site. So call out to Jeff Dumont for hustling and moving lots of vehicles around every day. This is showing the 100 again. We've got this reclaimer that you're seeing here in the middle next to the mud truck. Is a rented piece of equipment. Some of you have seen our big Tulsa rig and our Vermeer reclaimers at the Bushy Pit or in the backyard from time to time, but this site simply just could not accommodate the size of those pieces of equipment. So we brought in a small rental unit that Mike Wright coordinated with our friends at Ditch Witch, actually through American Auger. Excuse me. And here we are boring out. Sam's running the hose, it looks like, for the mud reclaim. I think that camper's for sale too. Brendan may have bought that. We've been up there a few times. This next picture is showing us with our breakaway wrenches. So when we're pulling out of the ground, we've got to snap these off, and we'll have an excavator to sling the the drill steel aside. Sometimes we'll have an extra drill on the side, on each side, so we're trailing rods. But in any event, this is a pretty cool little tool. It's all hydraulic based, and it just snaps those tight joints apart. Works quite well. This picture showing us just looks like we're just starting to bore out from the looks of that front end of that tooling. And our mud pump. So this pump here will take our, when we're drilling out, all of our slurries come back to our entry pit, and we'll pump those to our reclaimer, or we'll suck them into a vac truck. And here we're using the reclaimer a lot to while we're drilling through rock. There's Jeff Dumont working hard again. Here, Brendan and Carter are working on stationing with the rover. We've been trying to tie the stationing in the rover to our bore paths, our bore logs, if you will, for as-built purposes. That continues to be an effort as we're kind of new to using in this group. We're getting there. This is a pit box that we use. Basically, you can see it's a stone box we set below grade, and then our reclaimer will come in. And the reclaimer that we rented is shown here behind this drill. It's kind of a poor picture, but it'll dump the cuttings that we take out of the mud before we recycle into that box, and then we'll pull them off site and dispose of them. This looks like we're getting ready to pull a pipe in. So the pipe is fused, laid out along the road. We've drilled out, and it's connected to the reamer. We'll pull that back. You can see some of the rock conditions we've encountered. There's been a lot of that. This picture shows the rock pretty well. Here we're set up with our reamer. Looks like we're getting ready to push ream here. And I think this is Ethan here, but Ethan's been running the reclaimer, which is a full-time job for sure. After we process the mud and we pull the cuttings out, the rock that we've cut down whole, which is solid ledge, this isn't terribly hard, but that's what we cut it down to, and that's our waste product. It was a good picture. It's a successful pilot tube, our pilot bore phase coming through. As I mentioned, we've done 11 bores. I'm not sure exactly which bore this is, but even the ones that were supposed to be soil, it seems like they've been rough going, even if they're not all in rock. There's certainly some chunky ground conditions. This ledge cut kind of shows what Dirt Tech's been dealing with more than us. Same thing on the open excavation side. The rock encounter has been substantially more than what was anticipated at bid time. This apparatus is showing us we're doing a really low pressure air test on our bored pipe. And I think our longest bore so far has been about 1,000 feet. But all of our bores will eventually string together and be tied together with Dirt Tech's work, and will be pressure tested at one time and witnessed by DuBois and King. So we're just eliminating the fact that our pipe is not an issue prior to all the work that they're going to do. So if there is a leak, they can isolate it within their section of the work. Here we are pulling in pipe. A few weeks back, I talked about the tracer wire. We're doing the same thing here. We used green tracer wire on the sewer. We're using blue tracer wire on the water here, as well as its blue stripe pipe that was requested by the owner. Here we've got our vac truck hose in position. We're getting ready to pull in. So this hole will fill with fluids. We'll suck that out of there, pull this pipe in. And it looks like there's another pipe that was installed. That'll be a future tie-in point, which I'm sure is complete by now. Another picture of us going in with our reamer. And this one, we've got a little mini excavator pulling this pipe into position along 2A to get prepared to be pulled in the hole. And we had one bore, we called it the swamp bore, across the swamp. It was about 900 feet. And this is our laydown area. There's an old kind of a logging road, if you will. So it was perfect for what we needed to do. And overall, we've had some challenges up there with ground conditions. This job's gone well. The crew's done a great job. So thank you, all of you, for that effort. And from the archives, I don't know where this is. It almost looks like North Willard and North Street to me in downtown Burlington, but 1996. I think that orange truck was here.
T-Roads. I think you're right.
Am I correct? Sure looks it. I don't know who that is, but that truck was around for a long time. I think Al Hill used to run that. So I know he did. Anyway, so that wraps up the safety meeting. Tom, I'll send it back to you. Thank you, everybody, and I hope everybody has a great day today.
Yeah, have a great day. Have a safe day. If you're watching a group setting, please send me over attendance. Matt is not in right now. I think he's on an airplane. So have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.